So Rusty, you're representing Cordaid and looking particularly at the disaster aspect of work in development.
Yes.
How does the scene pan out in Asia? I mean, what are the problems here, and what is the priority of Cordaid?
Yeah. Well, we've been seeing now that there is an increasing hazard events in different parts of Asia, and we're investing our work on how to prepare people on um, making a lot of activities that would reduce the risk.
And which parts of Asia you're
We've been working with Bangladesh also, and also with Indonesia, and also with India.
So what's the approach now? Is it
The approach is more on community managed disaster risk reduction. The idea here is that we build the capacity of the community to be able to analyze their situation, look at what would be the hazards that is coming, identify what would be the phase of that hazard, and then prepare for it. And in terms of preparations, they build their capacities, they do trainings, they do search and rescue, they strengthen their livelihood, they look at the health system that they can have, and they even access resources to the local government also to help them establish the entire infrastructure that would help them in their resiliency.
as far as traditional approaches to disaster go? I mean, which are the organizations which are doing something innovative or something that could bring in the most results?
Oh, what do you mean, the partners?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the partners are doing the community managed disaster risk reduction. Before, remember, all the strategy is really like after the hazard events, everybody jump into the community and respond, like bringing reliefs and etc. Now we are seeing in a reverse. We wanted them for the community to prepare, do something, because they are the first responders anyway. So if all the capacity is already there, then therefore the external agents is prompted not to respond because the response is already in the community level. So that's what we are envisioning that will happen. And we see already results in some areas, like for example in Mr. Chinapan in Tamil Nadu area, communities are already very much prepared. They have search and rescue teams, they have the shelters, they even build the bridge to be widened, the what we call this, the hole, so that the debris could pass directly, so that it will not come back to them the flood.
I see.
So there are already, like, we are building resilient communities. That's the end state that we wanted to see, so that external are less expected to be in the community. More of the communities are more empowered to do something for themselves.
In a context of Asia where lifestyle, I mean, where survival issues are much more important, I mean, the poor are just fighting to survive in a day-to-day basis. Do you think that makes risk reduction easier or tougher?
It's a tougher one, but that's why the risk assessment is necessary for the interventions to be for all these systems to be in place. Like for example, if we know that the poverty, we know that the impact of hazard is always affecting the poorest of the poor. So that's why when we look at this, the community themselves able to say that we need more this to reach to the level of resilience. So livelihood will be identified, and they themselves identify what kind of livelihood they wanted for them to be able to reach to the level of resiliency. So that is the kind of work that partners are doing, and they are providing that support to make that happen. So even like, for example, like insurance now is becoming a new product to the community. So the self-help groups now is looking at how they're going to ensure some of this livelihood of the communities, of the individuals in the communities.
And across the full continent, which are the 3 or 4 biggest threats in the immediate future? I mean, floods.
Flood is happening in Bangladesh. In India is also happening. In Bihar area, there are different parts are affecting different areas. Also in Indonesia, flood is also, then cyclone is also. Bangladesh is cyclone also.
The monsoon extremities.
Yes, but that is also drought can happen also. So these are the threats. But if the communities are able to understand and able to know what is coming, they know themselves on how to become resilient or prepare themselves on how to deal with it and navigate from it, and then get out and bounce back immediately from this situation.
How do the governments respond to your work, and is it influencing policy?
Yes, this is a very good question, because in the presentation of the case stories of Chinapan in Tamil Nadu, the government is very much involved. The community managed to come up with their action plan, and the community went to the government and
Local government.
yeah, local government, and the local government responded very well. They even provided some funds for establishing the shelters and also some trainings. So in terms of influencing government at that local level, it is happening now. How this should be translated at the national level as a big policy, that is being worked out now. We are linking that process to go up and inform the policy, so that the policy would be translated into more focus on community manage rather than responding.
What are the remaining challenges in your endeavor?
Well, the remaining challenges is really on so many actors, like NGOs and even government. If the paradigm is not shift, what I mean, if you are working for community to empower the community to do for themselves, here you are, some other organizations, other agencies going in, providing delivery of services, which is completely a different message from what you are doing. So that is a big challenge also, because the message will be confusing for the community. And I think that's the major challenge now. But once the government and even other key actors believe that the community have the capacity to do for themselves, then the challenge will be probably less. And that would be resources, etc.
Are you optimistic?
Very optimistic, because we see already some of the results, not only in India but in other parts of the world, like in Ethiopia. Government even asked the farmer who initiated all this disaster risk reduction program in their communities, transformed the entire community into flood resistant, and even helped to prevent floods, and even establish the early warning system. Now the farmer are being represented in the committee at the national level, sitting there with all these experts doing the disaster risk reduction. So we see some of these results already. So I think it is, for me, we can celebrate the success, and we need to replicate it already to other parts of the world.